Hi, Jamie. How are
Hi,
you?
Tessie, I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Of course.
Hi, guys. This is Mundus Meraki once more, and today I have Yumi. Am I saying it right? Okay. So why don't you tell us what is InsideOutWriters?
Perfect. Yeah. So InsideOutWriters is a nonprofit organization that is starting off its 24th year of operation. And we basically have two programs that run parallel with one another. The first is our writing program, where we teach creative writing classes to the youth currently incarcerated in our 3 LA County juvenile halls. And this year we actually started creating another opportunity for youth detained inside one probation camp. So we're really excited and now being able to introduce what we do to the kids that are in that probation camp. On top of that, thank you. And on top of that, we also teach our creative writing classes inside 8 adult state prisons throughout the state of California. So that is our writing program and our prison insight program. And separate from that is what we call our alumni program, where we offer reentry services and support to our students when they're released from custody. So that means that we'll meet with every single one of our students and provide holistic case management services. And we take pride in being trauma informed because we want to encourage them to be vulnerable and just honest with themselves and with us about whatever it is that they've gone through, because we understand that we need to be able to help them feel comfortable discussing everything that they've gone through, to have an understanding for themselves about why they ended up doing the things they did that led to their incarceration and what they've learned from that experience, so that they won't repeat those mistakes. And so we offer several on-site workshops here at our office in East Hollywood, and we also take them into the community to share their stories with other people. And on top of that, we offer cultural field trips whenever we have the funding to do so.
That's great.
Yeah.
So who came up with this idea of the InsideOutWriters? Do you know a little bit about it?
Absolutely. And so the concept for IOW goes back to the mid-1990s, when there were some professional writers, authors, journalists, and the Catholic chaplain of Central Juvenile Hall here in LA County all felt that there was something that they could do to offer the kids that were detained in that facility. And it was, just putting their thoughts onto paper. How do we help encourage these young people to have a therapeutic outlet, to vent whatever frustrations or other emotions they kept bottled up inside? How could we redirect it in a positive way? Because there's so much that we can all learn about ourselves while we engage in the creative writing process through introspection. And on top of that, we encourage our students to openly share what they wrote, because there's so much that every one of us can learn, through the art of storytelling, right? And so that's what the concept was. And, we start off in just one housing unit at Central Juvenile Hall, and that has evolved to nearly 40 weekly creative writing classes in all 3 LA County juvenile halls.
Cool. That's really interesting. Like whenever I've been coming here, they have a writing circle on Thursdays evenings, and I have been coming here, and for me it has been an incredible experience. You just feel right at home. You don't feel judged at all. Everything that you share here, this is a safe space where you can share it, and if you're vulnerable or you share deep ideas or deep things that you're holding in you, no one will ever say anything to harm you or to use it against you. Instead, there is always positive reinforcement comments, and so you feel better about looking at your life story or probably not the bad things or the good things, probably the choices that you made that didn't take you to towards the right path, or the path that you were expecting to have, or the outcome that you were expecting to have. And that's really interesting, because then you can reflect on it, read it out loud, and then it doesn't become something taboo anymore that you have to hide or that you have to feel bad about anymore. And that's I'm really grateful about what they do here and for what they do here. And I'm sorry, my English sometimes is weird.
That's perfectly fine.
But yeah, this feels like a creative home for me, and everyone is so delightful here. In this channel, I support a lot the idea of using the arts as a healing process and as a way to rediscover another path that you probably didn't see. I'm not saying that we should all become artists. I'm not implying that. I'm just saying that if you didn't see yourself, for example, as a giving person, or you saw yourself as a shy person, maybe through the arts you're able to discover that you weren't that shy, but you just needed the elements in order to like find that change of heart, that change of path, or that like spark that you needed. And so I wanted to ask Jimmy why, like, how important is using the writing specifically, which is like art, literature, the creative writing, as a tool for these young people to find another way, and a way also to stop judging themselves too hard for the part of their lives where they experienced incarceration, and also like because they're already being judged by society, and they already, most of them, they're like either they finished their duty time inside the prison or the county facilities, and they want to find another way, like they want to find a new way, a new path with new people, new opportunities, and they really want to try to not be judged more. So I just want to talk about that, like how powerful this is for like changing the lifestyles of these young people. Mm-hmm. These tools that you offer, that you kindly offer, and that everyone here is just so giving, like truly giving from a very, very humble and honest and loving way.
Yeah, I mean, Tessie, I think that's a beautiful question, and it's an important one, because, I feel like most of us, during our adolescence and even younger, and especially during our teenage years, many of us went through the traditional, schooling, right, where we were graded based on just academic curriculums, right? And so there is a need for us to be able to provide very critical lessons and tools through arts-based programs. And for InsideOutWriters, using creative writing in particular, is that we want ultimately to shift perspectives by shifting the narrative. And so what I mean by that is when we think about crime, juvenile crime, we think about crime and punishment. That's pretty much it, right? And a lot of the staff that are inside the detention facilities, many of them kind of like look at the kids that they're responsible for, that are in their care, as just these kids that did whatever they did, based on whatever is written in the reports or anything like, or things like that, right? But what we want to do now is start shifting the attention away from just crime and punishment to the root causes of crime, because there is no two identical crimes. And what I mean by that is people can be accused of committing the same type of crime, but there has to be, this shifting of just saying, okay, this is the category and this is what you're part of, and you're just going to be judged based on the worst mistake you've ever made, and that's something that you're just going to have to live with. We have to shift that, and we have to start saying, like, hold on, okay, even if two people commit the same type of crime, they're individuals. So we need to understand what occurred in their life, right? Because we're all individuals. And so through writing, our students are now able to start retracing their earliest childhood memories, start realizing how, certain events, whatever circumstances that they unfortunately had to go through, led them to that pivotal moment where they're at a crossroads and they took the incorrect route. So then, once they're able to start seeing that maybe a lot of things weren't necessarily just their fault, maybe it was the people that were around them that also played a role in that, they can then begin to forgive themselves, because I know that a lot of people, including me, when I also was impacted by the justice system. I blame myself. But then looking back, I was like, wait a minute, was I at fault for doing the things I did? Absolutely. But was I the only person that was responsible for that? No, because there were things that were going on in my life, right? And so that's why I think like any form of, arts that can help our young people really be able to just start, with the self-exploration process, whether it's through writing or through painting or through photography or acting or whatever else it is, we should definitely be able to, do our best to support them, right? Because that's when they can really, dig in and find out who they really are. And again, with writing in particular, a lot of times in detention facilities, our kids are meant to feel, are made to feel as if their voices don't matter, that they're silenced, right? Because they're being told what to do and when they can do it. But what we want to do is make sure that they are going to believe in the power of their own voices and in their stories, that we're going to empower them, and then we're going to make sure that no matter what happens to them, if they have to go further into the prison industrial complex or wherever else, that they're always going to know that their stories is to be told by them, and they have full power to do that. And so that's ultimately why we want to provide this to as many young people as possible, because even for us as adults, you have already talked about how powerful it's been for you, right? And so even for me, I'm a grown man, I still resort to creative writing when I'm going through some of the darkest times of my life.
Of course. And what would be the procedure or the steps that, for example, a young person wants to come here because they feel like they're maybe going to the wrong path, like they haven't been yet in a justice procedure or anything, but they feel like they're really like their environment is not helping them. How can they get help here?
Well, I feel like the first thing is for them to come to a writing circle, to be exposed to it. It may be overwhelming, but I feel like that is the first step. So they see that, this is the community that we have here at this organization, and that they can find a support group, that they may not necessarily be able to find in their own communities, and that they're, going to be openly embraced and welcomed. Even if it's their first time coming in, they're going to be like, well, okay, this is maybe a little uncomfortable because I'm not used to people really just embracing me, but that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that they know the moment that they come into our office that we are an organization that does want to provide whatever support and resources they may be in need of, right? And we want to make sure that they know that, we want to be able to have an opportunity to genuinely care for them. And in many cases, a lot of our young people in these communities, they don't really know what love really is. I can't tell you how many times, how people would tell me, participants in our programs, like, I love IOW because it's home to me. Yes. And so we take pride in that we've created such a familial environment and culture here that our young people come here because they want to be here, and they have cultivated meaningful relationships with their peers, with our staff, and with our volunteers, right? People have already reached out to you, and you already have relationships with a number of them as an example. So I feel like there's something special about that. And this is a strictly voluntary program. I should have mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
Both inside the juvenile facilities, in the state prisons, it's not like it's mandatory for anyone to take our creative writing classes. They do it because they want to. Same thing with our alumni program. Our young people come here for reentry services because they want to. It's not like we're telling them you have to, or they're not being instructed by the probation officers to come. And so that, speaks volumes, when we're talking about like the effect that we can actually have on young people as long as we are genuine in our approach.
Exactly. Yeah, I found that extremely important. And so when does this first approach of the workshops, the writing circles, do they usually take place only on Thursday evenings, or do you have different schedules? Where can do they have to send an email first, or they can just show up? How can people reach this writing circles for this first approach?
Well, that's a great question. So The writing circles are generally open to the public, but we do request that there's advance notice, right? Because we don't want to have like a large number of guests, and that kind of like creates this imbalance with our actual participants of our program, or alums as we call them. We want to make sure that there's always going to be that balance, and it's not going to be lopsided. So we do require advance notification. Again, reaching out to us through social media or through our website to get more information. But yes, the writing circles are only on Thursdays, and it begins roughly around 6:30 p.m. We do offer dinner for all of our participants, and the duration of each writing circle is anywhere from 90 minutes to maybe 2 hours or even longer, depending on the number of participants we have each week.
Yes, that's wonderful. If you really want to try it out and reach out, or even as Jimmy says, volunteer your time is a great way to help and to be involved in activities like this one. And also I will put all of the information about the InsideOutWriters and the website and everything in the comments of this video, so you can see them if you didn't have time to write them down. Have the alumni create content books or poetry, or have they made films about their stories, or through these years that the nonprofit organization has been living? Have they, or?
Well, that's a great question, because that would seem to be a natural fit for us. But we're very mindful about exploitation, right? So we want to just basically give our young people this lifelong tool that they can utilize whenever they're going through something extremely difficult, because it's really in many cases, I should say, it's different trying to communicate what you're feeling with another person, because there could be barriers where you're not allowing yourself to be as open and vulnerable for whatever reason. But then through writing, it's just you and that piece of paper. Nothing else matters, and it's just getting whatever it is that you're holding inside, getting it out. And so like you mentioned, the writing circles that we have here Thursday, that you've come and attended on several occasions, that is that safe space where we can openly share whatever it is that we're going through. And we know, like you mentioned, there's going to be nothing but positive feedback. Nothing you're sharing is ever going to be used against you. So at some point, we would love to be able to create an anthology, like a coffee table book. And my recollection is that there has been only one time that there was an IOW published book, and it was called What We See, I believe is the name of it. I'm not exactly sure. And that was several years ago. But other than that, no. We haven't really, done anything of that sort. I know that, there has been an interest from some of our young people about how do I now, instead of just writing my story, potentially, introducing who I am to the world in a different format. Maybe through a television show or a YouTube video, or even on the big screen. And so that's why, we're looking at creating those opportunities for our young people through screenwriting workshops. So that is something that we are thinking about, but again, because of the work that we do and the nature of it and the sensitivity that is required, we don't want anyone to ever feel like we're going to exploit them.
Yes, that should be a personal decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
That comes from them, that they really want to share the story, and then get the encouragement and the help that they need to be able to share that story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also very curious, how can people help if they want to help InsideOutWriters, if they want to share the work or the burdens or anything, what can people do to help this organization?
So there are three main ways. It could be, we are a nonprofit, so donations, for nonprofits are everything. It's what empowers us to continue to do our work, and we do need, the funds necessary, just to be able to offer our services to our youth. But then outside of that, another way is even like this video, just increasing the visibility of the work that we do, talking about InsideOutWriters, sharing it with your networks, so that there could be more people that are going to be learning about what it is that we do. And then the last way to support our organization is through direct volunteer service work. And so the classes that we teach inside the juvenile halls, basically are, just a lot of compassionate and empathetic people who really believe that, young people are truly capable of change if they're offered the proper guidance and support. They're not these monsters that should just be thrown into these cages and just be written off as being, just again, these criminals, when in fact they're young people that maybe didn't have the same type of support that many others have had. That's what resulted in them making careless decisions, or maybe they're seeking love that they have been neglected to, have in their own households or, through their friends. So in any case, another way to get directly involved with IOW is reach out to us by contacting our office, through our website, which is InsideOutWriters.org, or following us on social media. At InsideOutWriters is for Instagram, and then Facebook is also just InsideOutWriters. And then that way, we can direct your email to our writing program director, who can follow up with providing information on how you can become one of our teachers and begin teaching a class of your own inside one of the detention facilities, or at least maybe just signing up to be a substitute teacher.
That's really, really wonderful. So, okay, I just want to ask Jimmy a very personal question right now. But I think Jimmy, he's so open-hearted, and I hope that he really wants to share this with us. So how do you personally become involved in, or how did you come here to Inside Out Writers? Like how was your story?
Yeah, well, no, thank you. And I'm glad you asked that, because InsideOutWriters has really meant the world to me, and it is not an overstatement by any means, because like you said, it's going to get a little more personal now, is that, I was 16 years old in 1996 when I also made a very careless and incorrect decision to commit a crime. And so I was arrested during the act of committing my crime, and I was immediately sent to Central Juvenile Hall, which is the first juvenile hall ever created here in LA County. And so I was held there for nearly 2 years awaiting the outcome of my case. And it was during my stay at Central Juvenile Hall that I was introduced to what was presented to me as an innovative creative writing class. And so there was no name to it. It was just an opportunity for me to spend time outside of my room and in the small library that was inside the housing unit that I was in. And, I was just told, like, give this a try. We think you'll be a great fit for it. We think you're going to learn a ton, if you participate. So I did, and I was introduced to a man by the name of Mark Salzman, who basically was one of IOW's very first, writing program teachers. Only, again, we didn't know what was going to happen with these, pilot creative writing classes. So I ended up, taking these creative writing classes with Mark Salzman for, I think, around half a year before I ultimately agreed to a plea bargain for 15 years, 8 months with 2 strikes for my first and only offense, with that time to be served in state prisons. So I say that IOW, Inside Out Writers, means the world to me, because had I not been taught those therapeutic creative writing classes, I definitely wouldn't be here right now. You and I would have never met. We wouldn't be doing a video or having this discussion. And I say that because a lot of people that go into the prisons, and the reason why, a common perception of prison is it's such a violent and hostile environment is because there are a lot of angry people there, right? Because they don't know what else, they're supposed to do or can do if, they're not being given opportunities to really be able to rehabilitate themselves. Instead, it's just like you're sentenced to X number of years and that's it. And so then what about all of, the stresses that come and impact a person just being completely isolated and away from their loved ones, right? And I know that, yes, if we commit a crime, we do need to do the time. I understand that, but at the same time, we can do better. How do we then rehabilitate people that have made the unfortunate decision to commit a crime? So in any case, for me, because I was introduced to IOW to these creative writing classes, I always had that outlet. No matter what it was that I was going through, at the end of the night, if I wanted to, I could always sit down when the rest of the noise was like silenced and the prisons got quiet. I could always like write and, you know, just like remind myself that although my circumstances and my existence during those years were so horrendous, that it was temporary, that at some point I was going to be released. And that was, that is why basically I always say that writing was my salvation. It's what really kept me, out of trouble, out of resorting to, substance abuse or anything, just to have any type of escape, even if it was temporary from prison, from my reality. So I was able to find that, that freedom through writing. And so that was the one tool that I used very frequently up until my release from prison in 2009. And a few years after I did get released from prison is when I began working at InsideOutWriters as the case manager. And I have the incredible opportunity to now lead this organization that literally saved my life, and I feel has made a tremendous positive impact in the lives of thousands upon thousands of young people that we have offered our creative writing classes to in the past 23 years. And so that's why I wholeheartedly believe in the work that we do, because I am living proof that what we offer really does work. It started from when I was at one of the lowest points of my life, when I was incarcerated, and it has stayed with me up until this day, 23, 24 years later.
Wow. Oh, that's really powerful. Thank you
My
really
pleasure. No,
for
thank you.
sharing it, and for being so vulnerable and so open. It's very moving. I'm trying not to cry right now, just because it's so impactful, really. And it's the way you speak about things, it's just it removes the the fatalism of it, and just it becomes a new beginning opportunity, something positive, as you say, that everything can be better, no matter the circumstances and the unfortunate events that we get to go through, right? So thank you so much for that.
Of course, absolutely, no, my pleasure. Thank you for asking that question. I appreciate it. I feel I just want to thank you, Tessie, for helping us, just share more widely, what we do, right? Because you've been here for quite some time now, and I do appreciate you using your own platform to be able to really highlight the work that we do. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to the responses from your viewers, and getting any type of inquiries, just to see if there is any interest out there in the world for people to want to come and learn more about the organization and hopefully be able to join it. So yeah, thank you again. I just want to take a moment to express my gratitude to you.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to me, and this is why I chose to do this channel. To really bring people that are creating a change, and no matter what level, they're just trying to make things better for the human species. and one of the things that I want to highlight about InsideOutWriters and about the people that are here, it's just that there's no labels here. There is no, we don't even have to talk about diversity and inclusion, because it's just there. It exists. You can be who you are. You can wear whatever you wear. You can have the color of skin that you have. You can talk the language you speak. You can be who you are, and there is nothing that divides you. It's just being human, and that for me is something that resonated a lot with me once I started coming here. That I felt I was just a human sharing with other humans what it means to be alive. And that is just this is what I want to share with you today. And I thank Jimmy from the bottom of my heart, and this organization from the bottom of my heart, for giving me this precious time, for sharing this information with you guys. And I really hope that you do comment and that you do ask questions and that you reach out. Truly, like, please do it. Don't be afraid. You will never regret reaching out to people here that can offer you help or that can like offer you advice, and just for you to know that I'm also here for you, and that it's, for me, it's important to be honest and authentic and share what wonderful people do. That's my whole interest. This is not about me. This is about the world, and us, and everyone.
All right. Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.